I love the Christmas theme. I love a Christmas horror movie. So good job to everyone all around. But for you, just, joining this franchise with the second movie, which blew up so big in the theaters, just what has it been like for you to see the success of the franchise in such a short amount of time? I mean, Art is already considered, a horror icon like a Jason, Freddy, Michael Myers. And Sienna, I mean, people are already cosplaying as her and doing Halloween costumes. Just what has that experience been like?
Every every moment that I see something like that, I'm reminded of it because I don't think about it constantly. So when I do see an Art the Clown tattoo or a Sienna tattoo or a Sienna cosplay, I'm reminded in that moment, like, oh, we made something special and people really care about it. And I think I didn't truly understand. I don't even know if I really truly understand it now, but I think the moments I really get it is when I'm at conventions and I have these women dressed as Sienna, men too, but mostly women,
Hmm.
dressed as Sienna. They come up to me like shaking and crying, and they will say like, "I lost a parent," and Sienna, I feel represented by Sienna, and I feel less alone by Sienna, and that's the dream. Like that's why I got into acting. That's what
Hmm.
film and television did for me. It helped me feel less alone and it helped me understand this weird human experience a bit more, stories that are like mine and different from mine. So the fact that people feel seen by Sienna or represented by Sienna is the whole reason why I started doing that. So when I think of that, and I don't always think of that, but when I think of that, it moves me on such a deep emotional level, especially considering the kind of movie it is. It's such a
Right.
it's a praved movie, and yeah, the fact that people are so emotionally connected to it is it's really all we could ever hope for.
And is it, surprising? Like you mentioned, it is kind of an unlikely movie that would have this response. But I know like Jamie Lee Curtis has talked about, fans coming up to her all these years for being a final girl. I think it does just come with the territory of being one of these fierce women in a horror film.
I suppose so. I mean, it definitely is surprising. I know it shouldn't be because even for when I was initially cast for Terrifier 2, Dave and Damien took me out to Outback Steakhouse. And I remember because Damien and I like shared the brownie dessert, which is so good. And I was like, I got to get in shape for this movie. Like, this is my last time. It wasn't my last time. And I remember Damien telling me that he believes that Sienna was going to be the Batman to Art's Joker. And I was like,
Mhm.
all right, chill out. What are you talking about? And he was like, I'm telling you, Law, this is going to be big. Like people are going to really love Sienna. And it's like, and I was like, okay, I believed his passion, but I did not understand the scope and the trajectory in which it would take. Like as an artist, you never know how your work's going to be received, how
Right.
it's in the end. So I'm just so pleasantly surprised, and I'm still surprised every time someone speaks highly of the series, not because it doesn't deserve it, but just because it feels like a dream come true.
Mm.
So yes, every day I pinch myself.
And this film, as you mentioned, a lot of people are dressing up as Sienna from the second film. In this one, you get to be a little more relaxed. I'm curious how it felt stepping back into the character without that warrior armor this time. Like, did you feel just as badass? Because you
Oh,
do
it
still have some pretty incredible moments, but
Yeah, she does. She still has an interesting and kind of iconic end final look. Um, yeah, I hated wearing that costume. It was the worst. It was so uncomfortable. I was so excited to wear like slightly oversized jeans, a sweater. Like I was
Mhm.
fully clothed. This was amazing. Like you could I could have padding on. Like I couldn't
Mm.
wear padding in Terrifier 2 when I was getting whipped and thrown around. Like I was just like my skin was showing, so I
Ugh.
couldn't. So it definitely it was less ibuprofen I had to take this time around, which was nice. And I was so happy to focus on um, just the physicality of it. And there were restrictions to the costume, even
Yeah.
though they tried their best. There were definitely restrictions. So wearing actual clothes gave me a freedom that I didn't know that I could have based off of comparing Terrifier 2 and Terrifier 3. So I loved it.
And you do have obviously this background in martial arts stunt work. Do you think Damien like throws more at you knowing that you have this experience and you can actually physically do it yourself?
I think possibly yes. I think also I've always been the type of artist that loves a challenge, and I think Damien knows that. So he's happy to throw things at me. Like he's
Yeah.
happy to, even if it's not stunt related, he'll throw an idea at me at like the drop of a hat, and I want the challenge. It's but and I think that might come with being a martial artist because you're constantly having to challenge yourself to be better. And I
Mm.
think a lot of acting and martial arts goes hand in hand in that way. You have to learn a lot of perseverance, a lot of indomitable spirit. And I think Damien knew how physical Sienna would have to be in this role and how willing I was. I wanted to do all of my own stunts, and I did do like 98% of it, but I think Damien was psyched. And whenever I want to do something, he's like, all right, if you want to do it, do it. And I'm like,
Go
yeah, I want
wild.
to do it. Give it to me. So it's fun.
And I don't want to get into spoiler territory, but you do have an epic fight scene versus Art with the chainsaw. We see him with it in the trailer. Just can you talk a little bit about how you prepared for that and what it was like to actually film a confrontation like that? Because yeah, it's good.
That was like my favorite week on set. So I got to give props to Drew Leary, our stunt coordinator. I love Drew. He's just an amazing person and a wonderful director because a lot of stunt coordinating is not just coordinating and choreographing a fight scene, but directing it. Like he'd have to remind me of things that I hadn't thought of, it more performance wise. So I was so psyched. We worked on this fight scene. We would like work on it outside. It was like my favorite thing to do. And most of the actual physical stuff was with Dave's stunt double Bobby. And
Okay.
Bobby was incredible. And he wore the full like sometimes they would be standing next to each other and I'm like, which one is which? Like it's hard. But I think I understand how Dave walks. So like
Mm.
as long as they moved, I knew which one was which. But like when I just saw them, because Bobby looked very similar to Dave in the whole getup, I was like, who am I talking to right now? But Bobby was incredible, so collaborative. Like I would constantly be like, are you okay with this? And as like some performers aren't usually asked that question. So he's like, why are you asking me this? Like, I'm fine. And
Of
I'm like,
course
all
I
right,
am.
yeah. I'm like, no, you're right. You're right. And of course, I got to give props to Jenna as well. Jenna, who was my stunt performer in Terrifier 2 and Terrifier 3. She also does some stuff in this one, particularly, and this is in the trailer, so it's not a giveaway, being thrown over the couch and into the table. That was
Yeah.
her and not me. I wanted to do it, but there are some things that Damien won't let me do, and I understand because in his mind, if I get injured, we lose days, we lose time. But I'm like,
Yeah.
I can do it. And Jenna's like, she can do it, and I'm like, maybe next time. But it was. I at least got to do all of the fighting stuff, which I was happy about.
Oh, it looked great. Obviously, when we talk about these movies, the gore of it is such a talking point, and I'm sure with all the practical effects on set, it's got to be fun to see. But are there moments when you either like you need a minute, like is it too much, or something you see, or maybe even has to be applied to you, where you do kind of have those. "Ugh."
So yes and no. There are moments when I mean when I see the practical effects, I'm just in awe of
Yeah.
them. And they don't really bother me. I actually need more moments from really emotional scenes. I might
Mm,
need a moment to recover from that and to breathe because like my body doesn't know the difference. Like I'm stressing myself out, and even though I can snap out of it in my brain, my body is still sweating and just stressed out. But there is this one practical effect that I don't know if I can say because it's, I guess, spoiler territory, but it was a gag and where I literally gagged because of it, where I have to bite into something and it's supposed to, goo is supposed to shoot out, but instead it shot right up my nose. And
ugh.
it was this puree of like cherries and hand soap. So I was coughing up pink hand soap for days after this, and I was so uncomfortable. And when Damien yelled cut, I'm like gagging. I'm like, oh, someone give me a towel. And Damien's like, wait 1 second. He gets his phone. He's like, say cheese, and he loves reveling in our misery.
Of
So
course.
yeah.
And last thing I want to ask, but this movie does delve more into the mythology of both Art and Sienna. There's still a lot, I think, left to be explored going forward. But do you think Art can ever actually be killed? We know he can be stopped. We know he can be maybe put on pause for a bit, but do you think somewhere down the line we'll learn if that's even possible to take him out? Do you personally, like, I guess, what do you personally believe?
Well, I know what you mean, because oh goodness, I'm getting a phone call, so I lost you. I know what you mean, because well, Art has been killed, but of course he gets resurrected. So again,
Yes, this is
Art,
the third movie. So
yeah, Art can be killed, but can he stay dead is the question. And I unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, I know the answer to that, and
okay,
I don't think I can tell you.
that's fair. We will keep watching till we find out.
So much. I really appreciate your time. This
All
was
right.
so
Thank you so much. Have a good one.
thanks.